I'm really very shocked and concerned about how easily Mark lies. And it's like, it's frightening to me. So I actually said, I have to go home and pray.
Wow.
It's frightening. Like the 28 bank accounts, it's been clarified. It's been in the public domain. It's not like you don't know. It's one thing if you say something not knowing if it's true. But when you know it is untrue and you repeat it, you are lying. Do you know the story of this?
No.
It was just...
But what's that? What's that? They haven't told the story for you.
No, man, it was just...
They tell the story.
It's our staff Christmas party. So I decided I was going to just surprise them with a little vibes.
Oh.
So no, it was not like to be filmed or captured or anything. And I think maybe one staff member filmed it and shared it, and it just...
No, man.
But it wasn't like I had Senate the next day. After this, 15 minutes after this, I had to leave out to go prepare for Senate the next day. So I didn't even, like, it was when they messaged me to say, Minister, and my colleagues in CARICOM messaged me to
Drop
say...
your talker phone.
Sorry.
Yeah. We start by the way. We jump right to that. Yeah, we start.
You have to tell us that again.
Yeah. So you're saying like you practice this like the dance moves the day, but we just there play like Kamina Johnson
the drift
Smith, like
challenge.
drift, yeah, our dancing moves. Yeah, because we did do a video reaction video to it, react to it and say she's smooth. She's smooth with it. Yeah. You were saying like you practice it the day before.
Yeah, I learned it the day before. You know, people were saying, "Oh, she must have practiced it." Of course, I practice it. But then dance on a practice
It
thing.
look practice, but
like,
it looks smooth practice.
Exactly,
like
days, not a day.
No. Literally ran it through in the boardroom upstairs before I came down, because it's just in the parking lot of the ministry. It's actually our ministry Christmas party.
Oh.
And it was just a little vibes for staff, a surprise. And somebody filmed it, or maybe more than one person filmed it. But everybody loved it. It really broke down the whole vibe at the party. And but after that, of course, I had to leave and go and prepare for Senate.
But how did you get you to do that though?
No, it was my idea.
So you just jumped right at it?
I just wanted to do something fun and different, and just, I know people feel like, minister and whatever, but I feel like we're all a part of a team. We're all working to the same goal. And sometimes we work so hard, we forget that. And I think so it's important. So like things like Sports Day, like I not only defend my sack race medal and my three-legged man and my lime spoon, I am the silver medalist this year for the lime and spoon.
You definitely give Sports Day vibe. You get a vibe there for real.
She's dedicated.
So like when we go to staff to the award ceremony, when everybody's getting their stuff, I like walk with all my medals from all my previous.
Of course.
I go like clankety clank, clank, and I tell the new young recruits, I'm like, you just come.
The new young.
Next
you don't
year
want
for
to
you. Next year
you don't
for
want
you.
to Shelly.
The
You don't want to
reigning
Shelly
champ.
Sports Day though. You
Oh
don't want
gosh.
to
I love Shelly on Sports Day. I can't tell you how often I'm like, watch again. Right? I love how she gives it everything, like she doesn't hold back. And I really do bless up all of the mothers who run with her, because that's like
brave.
I love seeing she crush those unfit mothers.
It's
I
just
love
awesome.
seeing it. It is awesome.
I think she just Shelly.
It's the true spirit of competition to me now ease up. No, because me are Olympic athlete and owner is no.
Right?
Me are run that.
She take it serious.
And she does, at least she does it in jeans. So I mean that's some constraint. She's not in athletic gear.
Right?
You know?
And still.
Yeah. So that is kind of a handicap, and we love Shelly.
Of course. We all love Shelly.
I would dare to our people. Yeah, we we're just
Official intro.
Official intro.
Yes.
Welcome with us here on the set, on the show. Well, we'll be not try. There's some some discrepancy. Try or reach out but
because
it's somebody who we've been wanting on the show for some time. Yes, Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson Smith joined us here.
Yay.
In the building. Thank you for taking the time out to be here with us, Senator.
Really happy to be here with you. So I'm not a senator anymore.
Okay.
Because Parliament has been dissolved, but I do continue to be a minister because cabinets remain in place until a new cabinet is appointed, because government, every country must always have a government which is in place. That's our business continuity for Jamaica. we must always run. Prime Minister and I were in meetings today with the electoral official mission, observation missions from CARICOM and the OAS because government continues. I had meetings with my CARICOM foreign ministers earlier on this week on some difficult issues. Government continues. It's just that we have everything else as well.
Oh, right.
So,
Yeah.
we're
So
glad they
it's
could
a
have there with
minister.
you. There with you too because at bomb threats over here going today.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? People are so irresponsible. I mean, it's, what are they thinking?
So random.
Yeah, very random.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's random. I think it's quite political. I think it's...
You feel like it's political?
Yeah, man,
Could be, yes.
it is...
But the day when the soldier them a vote and everything.
Does that really seem random to you?
Yeah.
It does not.
When you
It's not
flip,
random. No, it
Yeah.
is. It's disruptive. It's meant to cause concern and fear. Maybe people feel a little disconcerted. They decide maybe they don't bother to go out, or, it disrupts the flow. Electoral workers feel like, what's happening here? It's just to cause disruption. But I'm glad to see that statements were put out. I know our security forces are like on top of things, and I hope that they find the perpetrators and that, I just think it's not
Resolve
right.
the issue,
it's not
right?
right.
Yeah.
And I
Exactly.
hope that they don't try it again on Wednesday, because I think that's. We have a democracy. We have to, Jamaica's supposed to be on that. I don't think everything can be a joke or everything can be
Exactly. And we need to get this thing done.
Done.
and out the
Exactly.
way.
I think
We
everybody
have
wants it
school,
done.
The kids need to go back to school.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we don't need any further
How are you
delays.
during like election season? Like you get like antsy or you get like anxious? Or,
I think I'm not an antsy person, but I do feel a sense of, I do get anxious, I think a little bit about getting things right and making sure that things go the way they're supposed to go, as you can tell, right? And of course, wanting the best result for my country, best result for my party. I feel very strongly about that, yeah.
Nice.
So, but I'm not on the ground a lot. I'm policy girl. Always been. That's how I started. More comfortable behind the books. Although you see me out front alone now, that's not how I started. It's not how I've ever
one
intended.
could call you fly girl as well.
Fly girl.
You ever take flights? Yeah.
Catching flights, not feelings.
I prefer the national bird, but I'll take fly girl. Actually, I prefer fly girl. There's a cool element with that. I like fly girl. I like that. Thank you. Can I use it for free?
Why not?
Of course.
Why not?
I want to get the T-shirt, fly girl. And when you see me, do not grudge me because
Just credit me.
because
That's
I will
all.
rock it.
Yeah.
Just
you have to
credit
give
say
it like a
it was,
nickname. Fly
it was
girl
given to me
Kamina.
by Nara from the Fix.
If I say fly girl by Nara, it's gonna look like
No,
I don't know. I'm
you
gonna have
say-
to explain that to my husband.
Hey, right.
That's too much.
So now you just say fly
Look at
girl
his face.
Kamina.
He's like maybe
Yeah.
Just put
Just
it
say-
small on the shirt. It's there, but it's not
No.
really visible. It's
Put
there.
it on the tag.
the fine print.
Yeah, the fine print there.
tag.
But I like fly girl
Kamina.
Kamina.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's cute.
I like that.
It's
That's even
young,
better.
stylish.
What advice would you give to women entering politics? It seemed like, at least from what I gather, like females are a bit hesitant to enter the field because it's very grimy, it's male dominated,
Yeah.
What advice would you give to females?
More and more of us are doing it, which I think is great.
Yeah.
And I think I know some of them are doing it because they see others of us doing it, and they think therefore that is possible. Which is why they say representation is impossible. You have to. Representation is important. Seeing is what helps people. Seeing themselves in a process is what helps people enter it, right? And I think, people say, boy, politics is blood sport and you have to have crocodile skin and whatever. But quite frankly, as I have said to people before, when I'm perhaps unnecessarily frank, which I always tend to be, but I've said, the day I stop caring, the day I don't feel it anymore, then I shouldn't be in it anymore. So I feel like, crocodile skin is part of a coping mechanism, right? It must be. It's like you can't care about everything. It's maybe doctors, how they, have to deal with a process of losing patients and how you steel yourself for surgery and all of that.
Right.
Lawyers have to steel themselves, be dispassionate in delivering a case. In politics, if you're maybe too empathetic and you take on everything, or if you feel the pain of criticism more deeply than some, then it becomes more difficult.
Yeah.
So So I care, I feel, and I feel like I don't want to lose myself in this process, and I don't feel I have to. Not that it makes it easier.
Yeah.
And not that people don't say, boy, you have to toughen up. I'm like, but it's not me. It's just not me.
So how do you then?
Yeah.
I'm like, let's dance it out. No,
How you
I'm
prevent
kidding.
yourself from losing yourself to the process?
I try to exercise. I try to find time for me. It's my exercise time. It's my time. It's like, please, when I walk on the hill, no policy. In fact, I was going to make a T-shirt that says "No policy on the hill." Like so you read part when I'm
This is
coming
how you have
up.
a mind for T-shirts.
Yes. All
It's my
planned out.
internal mind messaging, you know. I do try and do that to stay healthy and to keep my mind balanced. I have, when I entered politics, I did say to my friends, my good friends, my best friends, I said, listen, anytime you see me like feel like I believe my own hype or whatever, one lick to the head back, that's please keep me grounded. But so far they have not had to. So far they have not had to. I just think that you can't lose yourself in this process.
Yeah.
You can't
At what
lose
point
yourself.
did you feel like, okay, I care about this, I'm passionate about this, I really want to do politics?
You know, it didn't happen like that for me. It didn't happen like that for me. And by the way, just to finish the thought you're saying, what do I say to, I'd say do it. Do it. It's the best way to make change. It's the best way, like to be at the table is the way to make change. To have a voice is the way. Everything else is advocacy. It's the power of the pen. It's the ability to change legislation, to say this can be better. That there's nothing like that to create change in your country. So do it, because we need more female voices in it, more female perspectives. It's why we have perimenopause and menopause and period poverty in our manifesto. You wouldn't have that if you were just at the table. You have it because you're writing the document, you know. So you're not only able to have the discussion, you're able to make a difference and say, listen, this is how we pull the policy together. This is what it will mean, and this I think we can all get around. So I think it's important to have women's voices here. We have a national childcare task force in here to assess the needs for childcare across the country, starting with 28 brain builder centers that will help with childcare. That's not just somewhere to leave your child, but looking at the fact that children aged 0 to 3 is when the synapses they develop most in the brain. So, you know, appropriate emotional responses, ability to learn, all of these things most heavily develop 0 to 3, and 0 to 5 the best window, but 0 to 3 is like. So what we want to do is make sure that the care that our youngest are getting is stimulative in a positive way, so that you have good learners entering primary school, and then their minds are better able to receive the learning at primary school. So you're dealing there with the literacy and the numeracy, and then you're building on that with the creative thinking, etc. But you start with making sure that babies' minds are properly formed, and that is something like our parents don't always realize that they're a baby just born. They understand what's shouting. They don't know that it is shouting, but the brain responds to shouting, and the brain responds to violence. And so it's how to also teach our parents better. So we're going to get more parenting support officers, more special needs assistants, special needs desks in every educational region, so that, because what we're finding is that in rural Jamaica, if the mothers are not sufficiently empowered to navigate the Ministry of Education to find out how to help their child, that they see something is not quite right. They know the child is not doing well at school. Maybe the child is not even in school. They just have them sitting at home every day, and they don't know how or what. There's not that their parent is not loving or caring, or that they don't make sure that the basics are covered, but they don't know how to navigate further. What we want is for them to be able to go into the Ministry of Education regional office and say, this is what's happening. And earlier than that, what we want to do is amend the child passport. You know about the child passport? In 2007, we started the child passport, right? And that has all the development indicators, but it actually doesn't have the special needs indicators, early indicators.
Right.
It has health. Physical health, developmental stages, but it doesn't have what are the developmental indicators that my child should be reaching at these stages, so that mommy or daddy could well say, okay, or the doctor in the postnatal clinic can say, listen, mommy, maybe you need to go and speak to a doctor, and then we'll have people in this because we want to train more. So like the scholarships that Dr. Tufton had announced, the Barrowin scholarships, I don't know if you remember, he did like 670 medical scholarships.
Wow.
But 670 people didn't take them up. So what we're doing is ask the Ministry of Education is asking health to allocate them to behavioral specialists, speech therapists, occupational therapists, and special education teachers, so that we're able to have people going into that field and incentivized because they're getting full scholarship. So that's, I mean, we're trying to think of every stage through how do we make sure that our babies are not only properly stimulated, but we're identifying when there are challenges. And then at the next stage, at age 4, at primary school level, there's an assessment as well that gives across the piece an assessment at a different level now. And then they can get assistance outside of that. So we're trying to lay the foundation, because that's part of how you get things right.
Right.
And we think that has been not given enough attention for way too long. Now that we have, managed to fix some things and we're getting some more resources into the education space. So again, this is a good that women do when they're in the space. That's short, long answer to your question.
Yes, because
So
I actually have a couple questions.
Sure,
I
please.
don't want to forget. The first one was with the passport. What about persons who had the passport? Because I have 3.
You have 3 kids? No way. You look amazing. That's
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah. High
Twins.
fives.
Oh, woo. But yeah, I
She
have
have
3.
twins, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, me not have
So-
none.
Not 3 twins.
0.
No, she have 3 pitney, yeah.
0.
Yeah, 0, yeah.
I have a son and 2 girls.
She's making the space full.
Yeah.
Right.
She have them for all of it.
Actually, yes.
Yes.
But the books, the passports from before, you're developing a new one. Is it that we have to get the new version, or?
Well, we're working out those details because we have to work with Ministry of Health for the best transition program, because we'll have to, we have not decided on the exact indicators that will be inserted. So it's not like we have the new passport developed. We're still
Okay.
working with them on that. But there'll be a transition period for new births. And then, of course, for whatever you would add in the event that you have a baby within that the age range for the developmental indicators.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the 0 to 3 stage, is it that this would be a part of the prenatal process, or they would have to seek out the help from specialists or whoever?
No. Well, it'll be part of. So if you need additional, remember, everyone wouldn't be trained. So what we want is, because while we train up more people, while more people study these areas, you have to make sure that at least there are people who are able to identify and then put you in a direction where the ability exists already. So like the diagnostic, we're making sure that there's a diagnostic center in each county. Case will make us have one in each county. And then the next stage is one in each educational region, because, there's 7 of those.
Okay.
And then depending on needs, we'll see if one is needed in each parish. So, but people have to be trained. So it makes no sense to build the things if there's nobody to work there.
Okay.
So, and then we're planning to have a mobile unit that will help to build supplements for assessment to make sure after, if something is indicated, then there can be a proper assessment. And then from there, a process of care is introduced.
Okay.
You've also said that the I Choose Jamaica Manifesto will focus on women.
It doesn't only focus, there's something in there
especially
for
those over 40.
everyone.
But like you said, like there'll be focuses or at least highlights.
There are things
So-
in there which will capture that age group.
Okay.
And so one of the things, I mean, this is not this nice, is oh yeah, for sure, is perimenopause and menopause. So like there is a whole world of people who don't even know that these things exist.
And what is
And what exactly? So what you have is a whole generation of women who have been going through changes in their bodies, in their life. Their partners are experiencing them in a different way. They're experiencing their partner in a different way. But there's no relief. What happened is that in the 2000s, they had a study that said that hormonal therapy, found that hormonal therapy is more likely to cause certain cancers that women are more prone to. So everybody shut down everything about hormonal therapy and it became absolutely taboo. So women were just experiencing, hot flashes and bone breakage and all manner of things, all manner of pains and lack of libido, all manner of things, but no relief. They have debunked that study 100%. And what that has unlocked is a whole new level of medical research in treatments and a whole new medical, an area of medical study and practice. But it's not penetrated deeply here in Jamaica.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is not only increase knowledge, right? So this is at every level. So at HFLE, children should be learning that the life cycle goes beyond the reproductive cycle. You don't have to learn everything about it, but you should know that there's something else.
Yes.
Not to be afraid of it, but there's something else on the other side.
Brace yourselves.
Brace yourselves. But prepare.
Right.
Because healthy lifestyle and all that kind of thing can help.
Yes.
But also medicine. So there are treatments that are available. But right now, what's happening is that you have people flying in, doctors will fly in for, a week and they'll treat women for a week. And then women can't, you can't find them. If it's not working for you or whatever, you have to wait until they're coming in again. That's crazy.
Yeah. There's
nothing on the NHF. Some of the stuff is not available here, even if you are, it's recommended. So we want the Pharmaceutical Council to be aware and to give approvals for treatment to come in so that people can buy it at a reasonable price. And also for doctors to be more aware and for the curriculum to start to train, to have that element in the doctor's education because it's not there.
Okay.
So what you have are gynecologists who know everything about the body except hormonal changes. So there are doctors here who are well experienced and practiced in it, but it's not wide enough, and it's because of their personal effort. So that's in our manifesto, and that's actually not just one item in our manifesto.
Just one item. Okay.
So it's not like an over 40s, ladies over 40s manifesto. That's one item in our manifesto. But the childcare task force and the brain builders and those things are in here. It's just that you asked me a question about women, and so I'm just sharing some of the things that I think women would be interested in, and male allies would be interested in.
Of course. We are interested in our women and their well-being.
A happy life.
Of course.
Happy wife, happy life is always a good philosophy, I find.
They're actually starting to hate that too. Like,
are they?
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, what about us? We want to be happy too.
You're always happy.
We're always happy. Wow. I'm sure I could draw several statistics to disagree with
it. It's still a man's world. Listen, when you walk into the G20, who is around the table? Men. You walk into CARICOM, you don't even have to go far. Who is in the room? Men. We now have 2 women. It was one for a while. It was none for longer. I mean, we carry this narrative about, women are taking over. We're working hard is what we're doing, but the power is still held up top. So.
Exactly.
Well, in 2021, you did talk about receiving harassing emails, and that can, at least that is an incident where it highlights how intense it can be for women in politics.
That was a bad time.
Yeah, how did you get over that time?
It wasn't easy. It was hard. And my family was super supportive. I mean, my husband and my brother were angry, and my mother was hurt. And I said, Mommy, just don't read the papers. Just don't. Just,
stay away.
Don't read this stuff. And it was very hard for me personally because I hadn't meant to say anything when I said it, and I felt that I didn't want to be defined by it. And then I realized from the WhatsApps that I was getting and stuff that unfortunately in not speaking about it, I was maybe disempowering other women who felt like if she can't speak about it and she's like in Parliament, then how can I be expected to speak about it?
Yeah.
So while I felt very strongly about the fact that like I'm the first woman female foreign minister, I do not want my tenure to be defined by harassment. I felt like I don't, that was important to me.
I definitely could tell based on how you spoke about it and how you spoke. Yeah.
I didn't know
at the time.
Then your emotional intelligence is high. I don't know.
Man, I could tell, say, like, I did full in a way.
It was. It was. But I can tell you that, the reality of it was, I don't know if you were to wake up at 5 o'clock in another country to prepare for work and what pops up in your inbox is rape, real rape.
Wow.
As a subject heading, you're gonna be unnerved.
Yeah.
And it was a difficult time. But I quite frankly, I don't know if I handled it correctly in terms. I don't know if I empowered women. I don't know if I made it enough of a teaching moment as I reflect now, but because I hadn't planned it. Let me just say, I didn't plan to speak about it. But maybe, I don't regret that I did because it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
so it's basically off the cuff in that moment when you spoke.
In the moment, it slipped out, and then it's like.
No. Yeah, I could tell. Like,
you're gonna have to follow
like
up
it
with
heavy
this
on
now.
us, like,
You're gonna have
Yeah.
to say something now.
Yeah.
And then I think people try to be opportunistic about it, which I found was really unfortunate because you expect women to kind of stand with you in the moment, and people who I thought would didn't necessarily. Across the aisle, and I so it's a couple people disappointed me. Some friendships across the aisle, I think, were shaken.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask, if that ruined like relationships.
I would say ruined. I don't know how strong they were before, but collegial relationships, you think differently about people when they, I'd say I was telling a friend of mine the other day that a very good friend of mine. Who's Rasta, he always used to say to me, every man show himself in time. The only thing is whether you choose to see. So I think when people show you who they are, so I've become more aware of that because what you see is what you get with me, pretty much. I approach life like that. Like I expect people to be honest and frank, and it's not really the case. It's not really the case. So I continue to be surprised when met with dishonesty. I'm like, how could you say that is not true?
Yeah.
Which may be a little naive in some cases. I try to be clear-eyed, but in my personal approach to life, I tend to expect the best in people until proven wrong.
Even before we started the interview, let's get into it, because you're expressing, I don't know if it was surprise or just shock at how as you said, Mark Gordon is.
No. I was shocked.
At least the things that he was saying in the debate last night.
I honestly, it surprised me how effortlessly he lied.
What you would say
Because,
specifically that he lied?
Like the 28 bank accounts, it's been clarified, it's been in the public domain. It's not like you don't know. It's one thing if you say something not knowing if it's true. But when you know it is untrue and you repeat it, you are lying. That's like an intentional and knowing act, right? Yeah. So we know that the Prime Minister, that he does have a couple accounts, but the other accounts that were listed was insurance.
It's more than a couple.
No, but insurance. His mother's account, his sister's account, that he's on it as a emergency contact, or that they added as a separate signer in case of emergency. Mortgage upkeep, dormant accounts. Really? So insurance. That's not this. entirely, there's nothing wrong with it, and it's not 28. So to repeat it as if there's something wrong. And remember, this is somebody who's been in investment banking, so he knows. Plus, he has actually 32 accounts, so he knows there's nothing wrong with it. But he keeps repeating it as if, and then knowing that it's not the case and it's been disproved. And even then you'd say, boy, if I'm really kind of back off of it, at least stop repeating it, then it wouldn't be so bad. It would be bad, but not so bad. But he knows, and he keeps repeating. On a national stage, in a debate, come on. Come on now.
But I see what I say, he's dishonest
lied about.
He said that Julian did not know about the increases. You know, I don't know if you remember what happened, but Julian Sudan, he welcomed the parliamentary increases, and he asked about, well, what about the pensions for the for other parliamentarians, and and then the next day, Golden was like, you know, we object. You know, I don't remember what they put out the press release to say, but essentially they said they opposed the parliamentary increase. And then on top of it, they all took it, including him. They all took it. And he is now the highest paid politician in Jamaica. Prime Minister did not take the increase. Prime Minister still paid at the old level. But he was taking this really disingenuous and hypocritical perspective about this increase. And he knows...
I believe that he has said that it's gone towards a charity.
No, he said it once, but he's not reported on it. And people have even asked, well, what's the story with this? And he just hasn't answered. And then he gets a pass. I don't know. If you want to ask him about it, you should. And I would love if he had an answer to say, yes, he has built 5 houses and whatever. That would be wonderful. But somehow he's just kind of crickets on the issue. So that's another thing. And he said Julian did not know. Julian knew. Julian asked questions about it in the parliament. They decided it was politically opportunistic to take a different view and cut him down on it, just like on other issues before. So that was another thing of dishonesty. Let me try and remember, because there were a few things. Although I don't want to make this show about him.
Yeah. Because it's your time.
What's that?
Is he born in Jamaica?
That is a question. He held up a paper, and I would like to know, because first of all, you're not supposed to have anything on you. You're to have no printed paper with you when you go to the table. They tell you that to the podium.
Really?
You're not to have anything with you.
Well, it wasn't in the pocket, him dry it out.
You shouldn't have anything. You shouldn't have anything with you.
Okay.
That's it. They tell you that you shouldn't have anything with you. You have to leave your phone and your notes and whatever and you approach. They have a pad and a pen there, and that's it. So you're not to have anything with you. And he comes with this thing, but I don't hear the debates commission asking any question. Again, he gets a pass.
It created a moment, though.
I have theories. Yeah. It created a moment, and
but
that's
he
what he
wasn't
intended.
supposed to.
But if it's not in the rules, is that okay? I mean, that you created a moment, is that okay? The
No,
people
it's
with
not.
I mean, when people are involved in competition, they usually flout the rules all the time.
Is that okay? It's not true.
At least to gain competitive ground.
Yeah.
Everybody else.
Mark should be setting the example.
Yeah, there's
I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying.
kind of so.
I'm just saying, because it happens on both sides. So it's like
It doesn't, and that's can I call you on that?
Okay.
I find that what has really affected the standard of debate in this country is that there are some people, the faves, I'm going to call them that, who get a pass. And when they do something wrong, people say, oh, but both sides, even if nobody else has done it. Like, what was it? What was somebody criticizing the other day? And I was like, how does that get to be both sides? When have we ever said that? If we slip, if I step, what? Johnson Smith, whatever. If on the government side, two people express a different view, break in the ranks of the administration, break of the ranks and when on the opposition side, it's they're a democracy. They allow different views to thrive. What? I mean, I just find that some people get a pass and others don't, and maybe it's because. I won't speculate. I'll just say that I think that when people do wrong, call them out. It doesn't make it better if you say, or more independent or cooler if you say both sides, because it's not always true.
Yeah.
And I think if both sides do it, then yes, call them out both. But if both sides are not doing it, so like I think like we need a greater sense of interrogation of specific issues. And if it's so if I lie, call me out on it. But it's not that the other person lies as well, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, I was just making a general statement saying both sides will float the rules wherever they can in order to win.
We don't.
I cannot definitively say that. I've seen politics and election processes over the years, and I've seen certain things done.
So that kind of broad statement makes it different, because clearly, but in the circumstances that we're discussing, which is telling a lie on a national debate stage,
and
you cannot accuse us of that. We literally went there by the book, playing our checkers. And, it's just, I just think it's wrong. It's wrong.
You've said that, or at least you've said that the PNP will do anything to get a foul. Like, if you like that's
yes.
Them thing that them usually.
Yes, and yes. But I mean, there's this thing about, Mark said that he didn't delay. I mean, you can do your research. Mark said he didn't delay renouncing his citizenship, right? But we all watched the thing unfolding in the public domain, and have to pray on it, and him have to meds, and him have to think about it, and whatever. I mean, the man is in his how old are you? How many years have you lived on this earth that you are now thinking about it? When did you get your first Jamaican passport? Only when you were becoming a minister, so you needed to get a Jamaican passport? What happened all those years? You didn't want to identify as Jamaican? I mean, I find that, I mean, he's been given a pass on that. He did not, that you had to think about it, and then he claims he had to do an internal poll, maybe did an internal poll, but that you need to be told when you're offering yourself for the highest office of leadership in a country, you have to meds on it. I think it's not right. I think, everybody has choices to make, and I'm not saying, that he must be a perfect person or whatever. Nobody's perfect. But I think some of the things that he has said, which are dishonest, he has not been called on them. And I think that that's not fair to the standard we set for leadership, because I think that has been eroded globally. And I think that globally, and I make that general statement, Nard, please do not ask me any specific questions, it's shifting the landscape in politics. And I think that for Jamaican, for what I want for my country, I want independent young minds like yourselves to question these things, and to not make broad brush statement, call out people on what they do when they do it.
What do you make of him continue to call out Prime Minister Andrew Holnes's wife and her job as a real estate developer?
It's not right. Listen, one of the things that I really respect about PM is that he respects strong women. He, as he says, he grew with his great-grandmother, his grandmother, his mother. He understands strong women, and he's not intimidated by it. He has married Juliet from high school right up, and she's a strong woman. If you know her personality is not backward stepping at all. Strong woman. She's a chartered accountant. She's a developer. She gets things done. She is one of the most organized people I know. And she has built a business, a hard worker. And I think that, her entering politics was a brave step, because it's not something that she had wanted to do, but she entered it to build the strength of the party and to be representative of strong women, and, as a strong professional woman. And I think to constantly try to these personal attacks, it's so unworthy. Meaning there's so many things in a policy space that you can criticize people on, about policy, about how they approach legal issues, or about how they conduct business, anything like that. But I think these personal things, these personal needling, and he did raise conflict of interest.
Yes, and, which I was just about to mention, because you mentioned, you're framing it as personal, but other people would say it involves business as well, because the conflict of interest that could arise is because, he's the prime minister of the country.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, they're married. Is it that he could be setting in place policy to make her get a leg up in her job?
Right. But
that's the question.
But she follows the process straight through. And there's never been any allegation that she doesn't. And where, I don't know, are you going to say that proven in the property business, then there's a conflict of interest there? And I don't know. I just feel like people haven't given enough of a call out on DB and G's earnings during FinSac. I mean, the man admitted that he used to advise Davies. He admitted that he got Davies' seat. And they benefited directly as middlemen in the high interest rate regime, made their billions then, and then come and have the gall to tell Jamaica people how your money don't make. How did you make your money? It's just because you have a balance sheet that shows it. I don't think that makes it okay. I think the people who lost money, who had houses sold because they were just unable to meet 130% interest rates. I mean, it's unconscionable to think that we should accept it as okay.
You said that the JLP... go on, Jack.
I've been wanting to get this question. So we were talking about debates earlier, or the debate earlier.
I was actually trying to talk about our manifesto, by the way. So go ahead. I hope we'll get back there.
Yeah, we get back there. But we saw the social issues debate recently, and I was watching some reviews online, and they were saying that the PNPs was the clear winner of the debate, and a lot of persons were saying that Matthew Samuda was strong, but he needed two other strong debaters on the team. Like, do you see these things, or how do you feel about comments like that?
Right. Well, actually, when people have said to me, "Oh, you did well," I'm like, "What are you talking about? I did not have my best night. I was tired. I started slow. I got in a couple very good answers, but it was not my best night." I was planning the launch the next day. I'm working on the website, getting things ready.
So nobody no business about that.
No, I know.
They're going to say, Kamina, you need to be prepared.
No,
ready.
I know. I totally know that. And I told them, don't let me debate.
So
I won't be ready.
I try to get a sub.
I said, I'm doing too many things. Come on. It's just, and they were like, no, man, you can do it. And because I play team, I did. And I did my best, but it was my best night. So you can't, as a helpful friend said to me, you can't win every time. I said, I know. I can't win every time. But
were you like, thank you, Matthew, for holding the seat?
Yes, absolutely. And Parnell's closing was strong. So, I mean, I did say, I was like, man, you're amazing, thank God. He was very good. And I think he actually gave us the edge. Parnell's closing super strong. I gave a couple good answers. And one thing was true. Everything we said was true. Everything on the other side was not true. And this is one of the not everything was a lie, but everything was not true.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So just that if you spend the debate trying to answer, just like in life, if you try to only meet misinformation and disinformation, you will never get your message out. You will never say what you have to say because you cannot keep up with misinformation and people who just don't care. And it's... I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong space. I don't know. But Matthew was amazing.
Yes. Yeah, so the team thing going on, when you're part of a team and you have somebody who can, hold the fort and, cover for somebody who probably not having a good... Even Damion himself said he never have the best of nights and never have him teammate them for hold him up. So, that was good to see. I don't think we pulled down the team in that way. But if all of us had been firing, then it's an unstoppable team.
Yeah, it would have been much better.
Yeah, it just... Too many things.
Damion did look as shiny to you in person?
Please remind
as he did on the screen?
Please remind me to say something to you off screen, but I'm not going to say it on screen because God will see me.
Wow.
I just want to know, if he did look as shiny in person as he did we did watch on TV. We've asked him about it.
Did you?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we asked about it there. Him say him have to shine bright like a diamond. Like him
Okay.
say. But him say like
Star
with the
of
makeup
shine.
like. He gave a logical explanation. Said lighting and like.
What somebody asked me is if it's true that him did shine like a young pear.
Wow.
And I said,
Hey, them shine for
Nah.
children.
kind of. Damion, blessed love, what you do know.
They're focusing on the wrong thing.
Yes. But are we going to speak about the manifesto?
Yeah, man.
Oh, but I wanted to ask we have a lot to talk
Yeah.
about.
How long is this show?
As long as we can
Not
make it.
too long.
Yeah, but
But I wanted to know if the JLP, do they have new strategies and approaches to secure victory this time around?
Well, we have been working on engaging young people and uncommitted voters. It's why we launched our manifesto in the way that we have. It's why we've paid attention to our website in the way that you have. Have you been to our website, by the way?
I perused it.
Are you one of our 173 on average daily visitors since its launch?
I can say confidently no.
No, but we're getting good visitorship, good downloads on our manifesto, good downloads on our 100 highlights, good downloads on our education manifesto. Yes, is it called a manifesto?
Manifesto.
It doesn't say it on the cover so that nobody could pass with me and say it's an error.
Yeah.
It's a manifesto in my
But why?
mind. But it's an extract from the manifesto, but it focuses only on education and children. And why that's done is a signal of the fact that in the same way we reform the economy, change things that people thought would never be changed, cut debt and debt to GDP more than in half, inflation kept within target to his notwithstanding global spikes, unemployment to historic lows, 3.3, 3.2% when it was, what was it? Was it 15 before? And then youth unemployment was 30 something when we took office, and it's now 10.1%. I mean, these are not, and I know that the PNP likes to say, oh, but these are just statistics and they don't mean anything. But they do. Because when it was 30%, it meant something. It meant that 30% of young people were unemployed.
Right.
And when it was, when the debt to GDP was 137%, it meant that we had no earnings before we even earned the first dollar, before we could pay for security, education, or health. We had to pay debt, we had to pay salaries, we had nothing to pay, and then we had to borrow more. We were in a cycle of debt. Unemployment, debt, murders.
Yes, yeah, I saw that too.
Even when we were taking down shootings and rapes and larceny and robbery with aggravation, all of which are down, murders was just holding, murders and shooting. And that's down 43%. And that doesn't happen by magic. We had an economic transformation oversight committee, changed legislation, reformed. You see all of these fund that's being proposed by the PMP, fund for this, fund. You get a fund, you get a fund, you get a fund. Over style. It is, it's entirely counterproductive and just would take us right back. What we have done is implement a central treasury management that allows all of government resources. We still have a couple funds, but it generally allows for the management of your resources more effectively. So wherever you need funds, you can move them. When you have the separate funds, you can't deploy that money. This fund has $1 billion in it, and you actually need 500 million in heart. And if you had that, you could pay stipends to youngsters who would get training, but they can't afford the transportation, they don't have lunch, whatever. So they're not coming out, they're not leaving the corner because it don't make sense to them. But if you don't segregate the fund and you just have that $1 billion and you say, all right, well, I don't need that now, so I can use this in heart, or I can use this here, etc. And that's how we've been managing the economy so well. So if you need more to fix a road, you take it from here. If you need to buy cars for the security forces, if you need to you remember that when we took office, the police were wearing expired ballistics vests? Do you remember that? If you look in this, doing the clickety
remember.
clack over there, you remember there were. Just fact check me.
Yeah.
Fact check me.
We will.
I mean, we have fixings in a way. Police stations were dropping around the police, men and women. They were undermanned, underwomaned. They were outgunned and outmanned by the gangs.
Wow.
And which is why we had to have the SOEs. While we recruited more, we had to recruit more to outpace attrition. Because what was happening is even when you recruited, it was just enough to maybe make or maybe less than the persons who would retire or be removed for corruption or whatever. But now we're at 14,000, right? We've added 6,000 members to the force.
Wow.
So and this is taking pace with attrition, and there's more to be recruited. Plus they are financed. I mean, they've gotten a significant pay increase. Their equipment is better. Their training is better. Their mobility is better, and their morale is better. Wellness is dealt with. If you fall in the line of duty, your children get their education paid for by the government of Jamaica all the way through to tertiary. There's, we have taken a caring approach to saying you say you need more. You have always said you need more, and if you have more, you will fight crime. We have said we will give you more and make sure that you have our policy support to fight crime.
Yeah.
Do you think the need for more was part of the destructive policies of the PNP that you said the JLP has saved Jamaica from?
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. No, seriously, they were underinvested in. The priorities were off. And even, I don't know if you heard Bunting the other day saying that the difference between the Jamaica Labour Party and the PNP is that the JLP government has a warrior mentality. And and when asked to explain that, he said that a warrior mentality, and this is a quote now, fact check me on this, he said a warrior mentality means that you expect the police are going to go out to fight crime and enforce the law.
Go on, talk. Listen over from a
Pause for effect, right? Pause for effect.
Like, what?
But the PNP, we are guardians. We want the police to be guardians of the human rights of citizens. And I said to myself that this is not a good choice, because we are guardians of the citizens of Jamaica, and we expect the police to fight crime, to enforce the law and fight crime in protection of our citizens. That's how you are a guardian of the citizen. And we certainly train them in human rights, and you would know that human rights complaints have reduced significantly. It's not something you hear all the time. We're not totally there yet where you don't hear about conflicts with the police and the members of the public, but it has gotten better. And
just to clarify, he did say there's a fundamental difference in the approach of the People's National Party to the existing administration. If I were to characterize the difference, I would say it's the militarization or the warrior mentality of the security forces that this government promotes versus the guardian mentality that the PNP promotes.
Continue.
Yeah, that him saying in general. With a warrior mentality, our security forces go out to fight crime and enforce the law.
Yeah.
With a guardian mentality, our security forces go out every day to uphold the human rights of our citizens.
Yes. Yeah. As I said. So
why can't it be a combination?
Absolutely, which is what we do. So I said, we are the guardians of the citizens against the gangs. And this is one of the things that I pointed out at our first press conference after the PNP's manifesto was launched, that it doesn't even have the word gangs. So they totally misdiagnosed the problem. It's not that you don't need social intervention, and we have social intervention programs. And it's not that you don't need, to help promote or ensure that you're focused on human rights. That's why we created Indicom. The Labour Party created Indicom in an earlier administration.
Yeah.
And we support the work of the public defender and there's iProbe now also within the police, and they've been working hard at taking out corruption. I mean, we've strengthened MOCA. We're trying to look at all the elements, and we're working on corrections and rehabilitation on the other side of it as well, which they also didn't have in their manifesto.
Okay.
They also didn't have border control in their manifesto, although the flow of guns is a serious and critical issue to actually break the cycle. So, I mean, what we have in our manifesto is a gang-free Jamaica as our aim, because we've already cut more than in half the, active gangs from over 300 to just over 100, and we're continuing to work them down. But they've totally misdiagnosed the problem. And if you misdiagnose the problem, we're going to treat it wrong. So you do need, we implemented SOEs because the police didn't have the manpower to fight the gangs. They just didn't. And what the circumstances in the country fell within the language of the Constitution that provides for the security forces to request of the Governor General to declare a state of emergency. Okay. And we stand by that. And we do believe we could have gotten further in our results had they not been opposed by Bunting and Golding, because Peter Phillips before him had supported them, recognizing what they could do to help the police and the JDF. Because remember, there was a period where we had to rely on the JDF working with the police. Because we just didn't have enough men, not enough people on the ground. If you don't have boots on the ground, you cannot fight the gangs. If they're not properly armed, you cannot fight the gangs. They cannot hug it out. It's not this is not the conversation. Human rights is a part of it. You must respect human rights. Things must be done within the law. We don't support extrajudicial killings. And in fact, it was under Bunting's administration that the police were accused of having a kill squad. It was not under the Jamaica Labour Party. And it's under the PNP that Jamaica became known as the murder capital of the world. These are all true. Yeah. So we're working down, meaning we have a multifaceted strategy under Plan Secure Jamaica that deals with all of the stages of crime: preventative, situational, operational, the maritime control, the rehabilitation. I think if I recall, I might not remember all of them, but there are different elements to it, and it does include a strong human rights element, but it cannot avoid the reality of the fact that it's gangs that are responsible for more than 70% of our murders, directly responsible and perhaps indirectly responsible for more. Yeah. And that if you don't deal with them as the root of the problem, then you are going to continue to fail. Wow. So that the human resource support side in terms of how we treat our young people, removing the fees from heart so that they can have an option, get certified, get a tools trade. If you get certified to level 4, then you get a grant that will help you buy the tools for your trade. So literally creating options and paths through the care program, heart. And there are several other programs, but essentially ensuring that literacy programs also deal with that issue, because you'd be surprised at the correlation. So we hope that the Jamaican people will look at the reality of the performance here, the budgetary decisions that were taken and PM spoke about it last night, the size of the investment made in national security. Is as a direct result of our recognition that it's a constraint on everything. It's a constraint on your social development, because the gangs suppress the youngsters in the communities. Yeah. They suppress the women in the communities, call for the young girls as they hit puberty.
It was even affecting the high schools too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Then you have the inter-gang rivalry in school that's disruptive to learning. You can't use a community center because this one or that one says so. So you have wasted government infrastructure that people of a community cannot utilize. No, they're like at the root of every evil.
Yeah.
You know? So you have to root them out.
Yeah.
And what we want is for them to surrender peacefully. Surrender peacefully. When they have surrendered peacefully, they have faced justice in the court. The police are trained though, so if they challenge the police, as a commissioner has said, he expects his men to win.
Question:
Speaking
Did you see did you see the data scientist named Christopher Charles? He gave an analysis that said that crime is not going down.
No,
It's based on his analysis. He's a data scientist, Christopher Charles.
No,
You didn't see it?
I did not.
Okay.
You sure your face look like
No.
Yeah.
Like I don't know that name.
you
I
don't
was
know.
just
Okay,
like,
okay.
are you serious?
Yeah. It was just I don't know if you want to eat right now.
No, I'll have to look at that because that
Okay.
sounds like, I don't know. Should I spend my time to read it? Should I?
I have
should?
a better
I mean, it was on the news.
I'll look at it to understand. I will
Okay.
look at it to understand, but this is real. So
Yeah.
if you,
Yeah.
I would love like somebody like that to sit down with the commissioner on a camera and have a discussion about his data analysis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like let's talk what's actually happening on the ground. I don't know if you follow like when the prime minister goes to different spaces and he meets with the commanding officer in the region and how they proudly tell him about what's happening in the space, where things are going up, where things are going down. Because for them now, they're so motivated when they're seeing the results that for them it's now a badge of honor to be able to say, you know, that now our results here, we are better in St. Elizabeth, we're better than Hanover, or we're better than Westmoreland because this is our results here, which is a fantastic thing. It's a fantastic thing to see. So I'm gonna look for it. Christopher Charles.
Yeah, Christopher Charles.
Yes, I will look for it. I will
Data
look
scientist.
For it. Very interested.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Very
was interesting to see.
interested,
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking about gangs, and the US feds allege that dancehall artist Squash is the leader of a transnational gang, and he faces or may face deportation. Are you aware of this?
Are you caught up with this?
Very peripherally, no. Like I do remember seeing a news report,
Yeah.
but I've more looked at deportation in its broad. I was put in charge of a interministerial cabinet subcommittee to look at the issue of IRMs, involuntary returning migrants,
Okay.
which include, and then to expand that for voluntary, to just look at the changing immigration policies and how we in Jamaica are going to make sure that we have the broadest policy and operational changes to have that not result in social and economic disruption here. So how are we going to improve our monitoring of persons with serious crime antecedents? How are we going to ensure that persons who need to be detained, like if they have warrants outstanding for them here, how do we ensure that that is recognized early and planning made? And then those who are returning but maybe left 40 years ago and don't have any family ties here, how do we ensure that they don't fall into a life of crime just out of necessity? So how do we look at integrating them? So we're working with Ministry of Health, Ministry of Local Government, Ministry of Labor and Social Security, Ministry of Education, the heart element, and of course, Ministry of National Security and Justice, looking at how we put the things in place to make sure if any come back with psychiatric issues, how do we make sure that psychiatric aides can deal with them, etc. But yeah, so if he has, I imagine they will have to make sure that whatever is happening there, a decision will have to be taken as to whether he is prosecuted and kept there or whether he is deported for prosecution here if there are warrants outstanding for him. I think we have strong interagency security cooperation, so I'm hopeful that there would be some discussion at that level on that.
Okay.
But I'm not briefed on the specifics. I've more been looking at
So the name Squash has never fought across
Not
your
my
desk.
desk.
Yeah.
No.
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 Do you like dealing with ICE? Do you feel,
I don't deal with ICE.
well, at least ICE sending home Jamaicans and that whole thing? Do you feel burdened by it as the Foreign Minister?
It's still a national security. National security is the prime ministry on deportations.
No.
But Ministry of Foreign Affairs does work through the process to certify that they are Jamaican. We work through with PICA, because you can't deport someone to a country of which you're not a national. And one of the things that we have to guard against is, of course, persons who, surprise, surprise, want to identify as Jamaican. As criminals because they want to identify with Jamaican badness, if you would imagine.
Okay.
What a badge of honor. Or for other reasons, that because they don't want to go back to their country, so they say they're Jamaican, so that they would be deported here. And if we have no records here, and then of course you also have to look through fraud. People have provided a name, but they look through, they go find, did this person, if they don't provide documents, or they provide documents that are, they go back as far as to check primary school and whatever. I mean, how do we identify this person? Because we try not to accept nationals of other countries.
Right. And that's the thing, because we saw the large number, 2,500 Jamaicans were confirmed recently for deportation.
But not at the same time.
Because persons saw that and they were like, is this something we should be concerned about?
It's something to be concerned about,
Yeah.
but it's not. So we have, I mean, every month we get deportees here. For years, from before Obama. I mean, it's not a new thing for us. So we've been managing it. But we anticipate the numbers have gone up. Not massively, but they've gone up. But it's so what we need to work on is just making sure that the systems here are strong enough to manage. That people can be reintegrated, that where they deserve a second chance, they get it.
Yeah.
For me, one of the things that has been very important is that sex offenders, that we amend our law here to allow for sex offenders who, even if they have served their time, once the offense was an offense that would have put them on the registry if they committed it in Jamaica, that they must be on the registry.
Okay.
So even though they committed the crime overseas, they must be on the registry here if they're deported here. So that's something that is actually in the policy works now for amendment.
Speaking of international affairs, what was the reasoning behind your recommendation for the students in Ukraine during the war to take loans?
Oh, that actually wasn't my recommendation.
Okay.
It was the recommendation of the charge who's based in Berlin, which is accredited to Ukraine, to Eastern Europe, because it is what she had been instructed to do when Nicholson was minister. So it didn't come to me. It was done. And when I heard about it, I asked. So we changed the policy and we actually paid for them to return. Prime Minister made a donation. Mark Golding made a donation. Then Mark Golding said that he wanted it to be paid in a particular way. And we said that it had to go into the consolidated fund because that's what the FS said. That's how when you receive money, it has to go in.
Yeah.
So the Foreign Affairs Ministry forwarded the money for the return. And so we said that essentially we would take note that this is what has been contributed. And he objected. So we paid him back his money.
No, it's
So
$10,000.
How much was it? 10 or 15? Something like that.
I'm seeing $10,000 being
Probably
reported
10.
here by the Jamaica.
So probably 10,000. We returned it. And I know he's been going around saying that he paid for them to come back. But he took back his money. PM didn't take back anything. PM said, if that's the system, let it be. So we paid for their tickets, except for 2 persons where their parents had paid for theirs. No, it's a couple more than 2 that the parents had paid for because a couple, but everybody didn't come back here.
Right, because it was like 43 students.
Right, but it's 20 something that we had paid for. Okay. And we paid for their ground transportation and for them to stay overnight in a hotel as they transition back, and there's for some toiletries and all that kind of stuff. I know, I people have come to me and said Golding is going around and saying that the government didn't pay, and I made them. They did not take out any loans. It was the PNP's policy under Nicholson when Crimea was being annexed by Russia, and they told the students there that they should go home. Then the ministry under Nicholson made them take out loans. I don't know if they were ever enforced. I did not look into it at all, but I tell you what happened under my watch, which is that we paid for those who indicated that they needed help home, and that's the truth. But
the uproar came after the fact that I think what was put out is that the loan was offered first before the payment,
they were told,
the initial payment.
No, that's what I'm saying.
They can't do the loan, and then
so you have to understand, in a ministry, everything doesn't come to the minister first, right? So when it came to my attention, I said, and they said to me, well, this is what we have done before, Minister. This is what the policy is, and this is how we implement consular policy. Okay. Now, since then, I've changed things. There never used to be a budgetary line for consular support for emergency circumstances. I've instituted that. So for dire cases, clearly, we have more Jamaicans outside of Jamaica than in Jamaica. So we cannot support support the living of persons overseas. Generally, if you have chosen to live overseas, then that is a choice that you have made. But if you fall into dire circumstances, and we've had recent circumstances,
like our
young lady trafficked, she was offered a job. She went there when she thought that she was going to be doing domestic work in another CARICOM country. When she went there, they told her that she needed to prostitute herself, and she refused. She has no family, no mother. The person she did have a friend who reached out. We were able to help her get a ticket back we paid for a ticket for her to come back to Jamaica. We had to find a place for her to stay for the 2 nights while we found a flight out, and for her to because they kicked her out when she said she wasn't going to do it. They kicked her out, so she didn't have somewhere to stay. She didn't have any money, but thank God she had her passport. Wow. But even if she didn't, we would have gotten her an emergency certificate. But things like that, ministry must have a budget to help. We didn't before, but we do now. It's small, but it still has allowed us to help in difficult circumstances. In other times, we've had to reach out, work with Labour and Social Security, for example, with fishermen who have gotten detained by going into the wrong waters. And we have had to bring them back, and they have had to route through, God bless. Now we have Coast Guard boats that have met the Navy's pathway to collect our fishers and bring them back. Before we had vessels, because when we took office, they only had one working vessel. You may wish to know, we renegotiated for parts for the 2 that were not working and got a discount on the second, and then we've invested and built up from there. And now we have the MS Nanny, the Marcus Garvey, is it Paul Bogle? I can't remember, but we have our national heroes represented in our Coast Guard vessels now. Oh, nice. Which we didn't have before. So,
You've said
are you fact checking me, Carl? I think you're looking distressed. I think he's getting annoyed because he's fact checking me and everything is true. Are you getting side-eyed? This is not fun.
It's like, come here, just wait for me for clack over here. Well, you've said that the PNP, they can copy our ideas, but they can't copy our results.
Yes.
So that begs the question now.
Yeah.
What ideas I'm actually copy from you?
So the big idea now that they're trying to copy, of course, is our 1.5. But they are doing it in a way that is going to destroy the economy. And it sounds dramatic, but that's the reality. And they're doing it knowing that they can't do it the way they are. But they're so bold-faced that they're pushing this forward. Last Hail Mary, everything at the wall. We better for us. This is like the whole run with it 2.0, which was better. We run with it, and be in office to correct it was the Omar Davies philosophy. When we hear about run with it, that was what he said. Better we run with it and we win so we can correct it. That's what he said.
Well, Senator Damion Crawford gave a rather lengthy explanation as to how it would work. He spoke
Did
on...
any of the maths? Because when Damion starts with his maths, you have to pay attention.
I mean, when
yes.
when he explains it, it does make sense.
It does not make sense.
In a way, in regards to like
sense.
time is different.
No, it's not possible.
The man went into time, how time is a construct.
I'm not following, sir.
No, what he does is he says a lot of things knowing that people cannot understand, but it sounds highly intelligent. And maybe there are elements of the things that he is saying that if taken on their own are actually true, but when taken together are entirely incorrect. So what they have said is that they would do it as of April 1. And then they say, first of all, they've said a lot of things.
Yes.
First they said they're going to phase it. They said that on day 1. And then they said April 1. And Julian said it. And then they've reinforced it in a press conference and publicly. April 1, they're going to do it because what they realized is that phasing it in wasn't as sexy an idea. And then they said they'll do it with organic growth. So when we did the math, you need between 8 and 10% growth in order to produce the numbers that will give. They said they're going to do it without raising taxes. So it's not that they're saying, we'll do it. We're going to have to raise GCT. We're going to have to, our math shows that they would have to raise GCT to like 18% or something like that. This is after we have brought it down to 15. They would need at a minimum, I think it's 8.7% growth. We are not going to achieve 8.7 growth between now and April. We're not even going to achieve it in the following year. Because although we have a lot of exciting projects on the way and we have projections that are positive, you also have expenses. You also have to continue to pay down the debt. You also are in a wage negotiation and you don't know where that's going to end, right? Because we have already said, so we have to... the maths does not match. It's not possible. It's not possible unless you cut something, you borrow something, or you tax something. That's the only way that would be possible. And if you cut, borrow, or tax, you have to ask, how is that going to work? If you cut, what are you cutting? They like to say, it's in that $356 billion of discretionary. What's over there? Over there is your path. Over there is your roadworks. Over there is your healthcare. It's your medication. Are you gonna write less prescriptions? Are you gonna reduce the scope of conditions covered by NHF? Are you gonna stop Spark and say let's not repair any more
things
roads?
that you don't want to touch?
No. Are we going to put the fees back on heart? Are we gonna not allow SLB to pay for accommodation and tuition and laptops and books now, the things that students are saying, okay, now that you've removed the guarantors and you've reduced the interest rates and we have decided to take the plunge, but we're finding it's still really hard because some of us have moved to Kingston for this and we can't afford accommodation. So we need to be able to take the loan, not only for tuition, we need to take out a loan for accommodation too. And they said we're finding it hard with food as well. I do think we need to look at healthy lifestyle as well, because when I went to UA, the only thing you could get is sugar bun and patty and banana chips. And if you're lucky, the Pepsi would still be cold. There was not the options that are there now.
Speaking of options and updating things, we can update our vote.
Yeah.
Seriously? I'm tired of sticking my finger in a purple stuff.
A lot of young people
can we update how we vote?
Electronic voting?
Yeah, I'd love I'd love the country to get to a place where we can vote like always in the US voting process.
So like postal and...
Yeah.
So I think the thing is about trusting the system, right? And I don't know if we're there yet because, even as when we spoke about NIDS and, take your biometrics, verify, so you're able to, once you have been verified, you can now use this ID everywhere. There was a lot of mistrust about what that means. So
not to cut it, but who you feel that mistrust falls on? The people or the government or politicians explaining these things to the people? Who you feel that more?
All of it. I think it's maybe the first real battle of misinformation that the government faced. Things were kind of, you have a little social media here, but you didn't have, I think the most massive onslaught of misinformation and disinformation was around NIDS. The next was in COVID. But I mean, the next wave, if we're to look at it like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we there's still a lot to be done for trust in society, trust of each other, trust of government, trust of, and I think why we've been pushing performance, vote for performance, look at the achievements, etc. We didn't achieve everything. We definitely achieved what we said we'd focus on in our 2020 manifesto. People keep pointing to other things, but we absolutely said, like we wrote in the front of it, in our next term, we will focus on,
as noted on page.
But I have a manifesto question.
It says 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there are about 9 if memory serves me. Oh yes, have you met Bella?
No, I've not met Bella. Bella is an AI?
Bella is an AI.
Oh, okay.
Please,
what Bella mean?
Can we look at Bella? Because Bella is our symbol. So Bella.
Kamina is so excited about
Can we?
Me no want to talk to Bella. Me I talk to Kamina.
But Bella, let's try.
What I would ask you.
No, but let's. Okay, ask the question and then we go to Bella.
I go on the side too, right? But I would ask you this. Yes. A general question. How much stock you put into manifestos versus like the intangibles of politicians and politics, you know, like you really feel like so people vote for what they in the manifesto versus like if them like Andrew versus if them like Mark Golding or, you know, party.
I don't think
their faves.
Them favorites and them like
so people
party loyalty.
People vote for who they love. People vote for party loyalty.
Yeah.
But we also have a high level of undecideds. So our thinking is really let's be intentional about what we want to do. There is an aspirational element to it. So like I don't know if when we sit down in 2030, I will take you from page 110. No, but admittedly, this has our achievements. It has a snapshot of our achievements. And then it also has a section that we say, choose what works for you. And it's where we've kind of gone through the manifesto and said, okay, we think that there are things in here that certain groupings will find interesting. Like if you're in the private sector, you're going to be interested in renegotiation of the JPS license. You're going to be excited about fair phase and disciplined tax reform, about the consolidation of statutory deductions, about the efficiency program for its oversight. And we're going to have a portal that allows citizens to suggest things, because of course that's the best way to know what's not working or what could work better.
Yeah.
And to pay a prize for people whose idea is good and accepted. And so that people feel a part of the process. People are a part of the process. One-stop online event permit process, so that you can, and with a QR code, so a man don't have to come inside the dance and turn down everything and broke the vibes in order to check if you have a permit. You can check the permit at the gate. And so just going through standard checklists across the piece. So if you're doing an event in Falmouth or you're doing an event in Kingston, that there's some basic things that you need to know. So you don't have to be navigating, and it depends on who you talk to, right?
Yeah.
So homeowners, future homeowners, families, households, children and young people, persons with special needs, creatives, media influencers. You guys can read that section and see if there's stuff in there that's interesting for you. Farmers, agricultural sector, community development, and a little section on diaspora and foreign affairs.
Of course.
But so that takes up the first part, and then the rest is the manifesto, the commitments.
So speaking of,
I want to model Bella after.
What's that?
I want to model Bella after.
I won't ask you who she's modeled after, but does she not look awesome?
Where's Bella?
See her?
She has on her little Choose Jamaica shirt.
I won't say who I think it is.
Okay, but she's awesome. And she wears jeans and her little loafers. So you're not gonna.
Me have to go log in and register. You know what I mean? Me can't bother log in and me can't bother register.
It's a quick process. It's a quick process.
Okay.
You know,
we're gonna do so. We're gonna do some by then.
While you figure it out, I have another question.
We had, what was it? This morning it was 74. How much? 79,000.
Really?
Yeah. people have
asking Bella or just
have signed in.
Oh,
individual, and then they've had more conversations because remember, you don't just ask her one question. So we have a 10-minute limit because you have to have guardrails,
right?
And the registration is to kind of protect her against abuse and malicious actors like Nard.
Give her my email so I can trace my movements.
No, we don't want to know where you are.
But
yes, you had another question.
The question is, you mentioned the achievements, and a lot of people are of the view that JLP highlights their achievements, but they're not seeing it, they don't feel it. How do you fix that disconnect?
Well, the truth is that like the 350,000 people who have water for the first time, they feel it. The 280,000 people who are working, they feel it. The 138 communities that have renovated health centers, the communities that are now served by the 150 repaired police stations, all with vehicles, plus the additional ones that have been built. I think maybe 9 have been built. The fire stations that now serve communities. The community Wi-Fi, 382 community Wi-Fi hotspots across in rural areas that never had any connectivity, in homes that don't have internet. They're now, so in Moko, in Rock River, they're all over. You have Wi-Fi that people can use and connect and for free. These are life-changing things. The social housing program, the 67,000 mortgages that have been issued by the NHT. So remember, you can use your benefits with NHT not only for NHT houses, but for other houses. And
they can't afford
once
it.
you're a contributor. No, but I'm saying that 67,000 people have bought houses with NHT mortgages. And
in what area? Like, is it all across the island?
Just across the island. We know 67,000 have been issued. We have, I think it's maybe 30, just over 30,000 houses built and sold, and about 50,000 that are in the various stages of procurement through to construction. So under construction now. And then we're planning to do another 60,000 because our position is it's the insufficient number of housing that keeps the price of housing high. And you talk to anybody who understands development, and that's the reality. So giving people a grant when NHT offers 100% financing is a late non-starter. Telling them that you're going to remove the cost of land from the housing price is a late non-starter. On a $6 million unit, on a monthly basis, you will save $581.70. That's, I don't know what you would buy with $581.70. There are things you can buy.
$581
Jamaican.
Barely 2 patty.
That was my assessment as well.
Yeah, barely.
So not a curry goat patty, but
beef.
1.5 patty.
Right.
1 3/4 patty.
And for an $8 million unit, you would save $624 per month. So when they're sold, and the young people here, they're like, you're going to remove the cost of land, but they're not telling you it's 3%. The cost of land when NHT values and the thing and amortize, you're going to save $500. It's not going to change the scope of things. You have to build more houses, which means you have to get your developers moving, which is why we have the one-stop development portal as one of the speed initiatives, which is we have the Amanda program, but it has not delivered all that we have wanted it to. And the municipal corporations are not a part of it. So you still have all that comes with. So we want to really modernize that program so more houses can be built, because that's really ultimately the only solution. So we feel very strongly that the whole scope of things that we are proposing for Jamaica is a better plan. It's a better cohesive plan. And we're not trying to tinker with little things. And we're not trying to sell you things that just sound sexy. It doesn't, we're not trying to tell you anything is a panacea. All of this has taken really hard work to balance. I mean, my hair is colored now because I have a whole lot of grays, which I did not have.
You actually admitted
that was your natural color.
Hey, I have to tell you, and this is respectful, you're at the short here.
Pardon me?
Bad man, you're at the short here. Like,
hair
good, like,
suits
you really
you.
right. Suit
I
you free, like,
appreciate that.
yeah. You rock it. Miss Fly Girl.
I used to,
Copyrighted by
Right back there.
I'm going to get the shirt. When I'm wearing, I'm going to have to bust the shirt on this show, though.
You have to. You have to. Or at
And
least.
I hope you'll
Yeah.
have me back because I'm really enjoying this.
We
I know
will.
I talk a lot, but I find you guys easy to talk to, and I like that.
Nice.
We will.
Nice.
I mean, but yeah,
Okay.
back to the tough question.
Yeah, no, the questions I've been giving you substantive answers.
Yes.
Yeah, so-
yes, you have.
A lot of people are saying, yeah, we see some good that the JLP is doing, but we have to guard against complacency and
Absolutely.
and even arrogance in some sense, because that's a common theme that I say, even a common word I would say some people associate with even the Prime Minister. So to that you say what?
Guess what? If we were complacent, like there would have been. I mean, maybe we would have said, boy, nobody don't visit Manifesto, so we're not making a Manifesto this year. Or maybe we make a little booklet and call it, like Jamaica Love. And pretend that it's a real manifesto.
And that would be so typical.
Let's do some
Yeah,
AI. Let's make
AI
some
generated
searches.
yeah,
Let's see what people need, and let's do something and call it a manifesto, and let's just check that box and move on. But we didn't. We had consultations. We had a had some amazing young people on my committee, and they have the greatest ideas. We had to throw out a lot of the ideas because they were unaffordable. So lots of people came with it, and they would get so disheartened. They're like, Minister, let's do this. I'd be like, we cannot afford it. They're like, but
Let's be real.
I crushed dreams.
Yeah.
Because we're not putting things in just because they sound good. Minister, you have to be realistic about this politics thing. And, yes, you have to be realistic. But you also, if you're going to be building trust, if you want people to start to believe in the system, you have to try to bring more together in what you promise and what you do. We have tried to do that. That's why we have our record achievements.
You are working.
She brought props just like Mark.
Please don't.
But this allowed. You're not breaking no rules. That's our part.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And
not a
everything in
debate
here is
today.
factual.
Oh, boy.
Factual. But yeah, actually, what was really funny to me yesterday, I went to the hardware, and when the security was checking me out, instead of checking me out,
I'm gonna say which context you talk about.
how you
I'm gonna check you out. Like, I'm gonna say, oh, you approve? Oh, this
checking
like
my purchases.
Okay.
Checking my purchases.
Yeah, like time for watching.
She
Okay.
was checking my
She will do it too,
She was checking my purchases, but she pulled out this book and says, "You this."
See?
So I was like, so people have the book, and they're reading it, they're going through, they're looking at what's there, what they didn't know,
Nice.
which is awesome, and things that maybe don't touch them but they're interested in, which I really. This took a lot of hard work as well, because just getting the facts, checking them, making sure people are not telling you what they wanted to do, but what was actually completed. And so we actually on the conservative side with that, we merged things. Like one thing is like, we reduce GCT, remove minimum business tax, reduce transfer tax, remove stamp duty. You remember that? And this is one of the things about purchasing land as well. The transfer tax used to be ad valorem up to, it was like maybe 5% or a little more than 5%. Stamp duty was based on the value of the property of land.
Yeah.
And it went up, so it would go up based on, and essentially if you were buying a house, buying land, you had to pay between 9 and 10% was what your deposit would cost you before you go fees or anything.
Wow.
And we reduced the 5 to 2 and made the stamp duty, which was based on the value of land, a flat $5,000 J. So what that did was unlock the possibility to buy without the heavy costs. It allowed people to deal with deadlift. It allowed people to work with land that they could not afford to deal with before.
Yeah.
People have forgotten that, but it was a major transformation in unlocking land, the possibilities in land. But all of that we put in one achievement. Like we didn't break it out, although each one was a significant tax policy change. We just put it in one just because we needed to have the book to be smaller.
Make it less wordy.
So we could have made it longer. So the thing was not to oversell. There's stuff that's not in here. You know, we passed laws to remove the criminal records of all our freedom fighters in the Christmas Rebellion and the Morant Bay Rebellion, and our national heroes that had criminal records, including Marcus Garvey, because we're part of the difficulty in the lobby for his exoneration was that he still had a criminal record here.
Yeah.
So we passed the law to remove all of that. So all of them.
I think that came recently too. That was earlier this year or last year?
No. It's actually a few years ago. Oh, his exoneration last year.
Okay.
But we changed our law in 2019. But we don't speak about it. But it's here, you know. It's just a lot of things. I feel like I've been talking a lot.
We have been.
Yeah, is Bella up yet? Is Bella wake up yet?
Bella up.
I had another question before we wrap up. I have this one that I wanted to ask. It's a bit lengthy, so let me just draw from my phone. So recently, Dr. Angela Brownberg shared that the country's international relationship is at risk because the government ran the risk of getting Jamaica blacklisted by the Global Anti-Corruption and Anti-Money Laundering Watchdog, the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, due to the appointment of Dennis Strong as Chief Technical Director of the Financial Investigations Division. So what are your thoughts on this? I'm sorry, it's so
I
lengthy.
hope you saw my response to her, that the only thing that's putting us at risk are their irresponsible statements and their baseless accusations. So thank God that our international partners actually check facts. They really don't just listen to the opposition narrative. Because if they did, we wouldn't have the highest score on the Corruption Perception Index as compared to the PNP years as assessed by by Transparency International. So meaning, if it were true, all of the PNP's steady drumbeat, corruption, you know, they don't come with any evidence or anything. Corruption, stop the corruption, time come. Like, okay, but what is the corruption that you're alleging? Time come for what? Can we have a real conversation? They're not ready for that. No. But so she made these, and it wasn't only her, all of the members of the PNP were saying this thing, and we were saying, it's so irresponsible and it's so crazy. In 2015, FATF assessed Jamaica's financial systems. 2015, it's on the PNP, and found them wanting. They issued their report in 2017. So we, as a new government, inherited the report that said all of these things are wrong. We started to fix them.
Okay.
And we fixed them. And in 2024, we were moved. We were put on the gray list, maybe 22, and then removed because we completed the full listing and became what they call largely compliant. That's nobody ever achieves more than largely compliant. No country at any level. And we were removed off the list because we, the Jamaica Labour Party administration, fixed all of the problems they left, the systemic issues, the difficult issues that had it so that our credit cards were not recognized on all of the websites, that it's hard to open an account overseas, all of banking systems, correspondent banking relationships cut off and at risk with the system they left. We corrected all of that. We've been working at it since we became government across ministries, and we fixed that.
You know,
knowing that, sorry, please, I feel very passionate about this. Very passionate. And at the time that this was being said, we were also working with the EU to get off their list. Because when FATF puts you on the list, the EU automatically puts you on theirs. But when FATF removes you, the EU doesn't automatically remove you. So I had been going up and meeting with the commissioners and parliamentarians and our embassy there. I'd been having And we're trying to have people understand what we've done and making sure that when the resolution comes before their parliament, that they support the removal, right? And then you have this nonsense for political opportunism, because they know that why they did not want Dennis appointed is because Dennis is fair. Dennis is not a laborite. Anybody who knows him and they know him, they know he's not a laborite, but he's fair. Under him, the NSWMA was turned around. Portia Simpson Miller appointed him first, and we kept him on. It's under him. What was the other place that he turned? But NSWMA, under us, wins corporate governance awards now. When they left it, people were burning Riverton every other month and having, I don't know if you remember the term, genetically connected. It came out of the contractors who were out in the fires admitting or having been discovered to be persons who said they were genetically connected to the PNP. That's where that came from.
Yeah.
So this is, I mean, it's not apples and apples with our two parties. And it's not apples and apples with our government at all. And I
Maybe
think
more green grapes and oranges.
You think you're funny?
I should try to process this as a wait, what?
Yeah.
we're gonna give him a small.
Yeah.
It's Friday night. You might have to buy drinks,
right?
No,
but
so
so this was, it was a very serious time for us because we're lobbying for that final stage at the EU, and the statement was made at a time when we were, we were actively as a government in that process. So we were very clear to say to our partners, and the truth is they check their facts, they have the intelligence, they know better than. So they would have, clearly everybody was fine. And we were taken off the list. Maybe, was it 3 weeks later? I think something, because this is not real. This is politics and trying to, again, because you have no answer to the achievements, you have no answer to the plan. You're going to come up with your magic 3.5. That is not possible. It's not possible.
Is the Integrity Commission report real? Is anything is it true on later the affidavit?
That whole process has been weaponized. Prime Minister, in the same way that we believe that nobody is above the law, nobody is shut out from the court either. And the Prime Minister is not before the courts trying to contest a criminal charge. He's contesting an administrative process, which is not something that will protect politicians. It's protect every citizen. Because remember, it's not only politicians who report to the IC,
Yeah.
So every civil
But
servant.
there is an investigation involving him right now, so it just look away.
The investigation was closed. That's another lie.
Well,
the
at least
investigation
there
is finished.
was.
Well, there was, but anybody can be investigated. But is there a charge? Anybody can be investigated. And this is the point. This is why the Joint Select Committee had agreed that the gag clause, I don't even like that term, but the clause that prevents premature disclosure of an investigation by the IC, it wasn't a JLP proposal. It was agreed in the Joint Select Committee that Mark Golding chaired. And Peter Bunting, as Minister of National Security, sat right in the front row, first seat of that Joint Select Committee. So everyone agreed that because of the very zealous role of previous contractor generals, people's name were called, they were said they were under investigation, they lost their reputations, they were affected financially or personally, and charges never brought, nothing ever proceeded. And it was felt that the better balance would be to allow investigations to proceed. And then when you have reached a particular stage, then if you're reporting to Parliament, then you're able to issue, right?
Okay.
Now, if you look at it, there's nothing unsound with that. It has been politically weaponized, but FBI, and I did some research on this, has a 90% success rate. They do not disclose investigations until they reach a particular stage. Like when you hear about it, they're literally about to press charges. MOCA, you never hear about it until you're like before the court. They're before the courts. And even then you might not hear about it. But they have one of the highest level of prosecutorial success because it has nothing to do with speaking to the public. That's not what investigations are about. It's not, there's this,
It's
you know,
a
sort
private
of,
matter.
you know, bloodthirsty call for information, but it doesn't actually help the success. So I believe, and I was on the Joint Select Committee. If you click the clock a little more, you might find some old Gleaner articles with me wearing glasses and having long hair, like a bob.
Really?
Yes. As a member of the PSOJ Corporate Governance Committee, who was very actively here speaking about how things need to be strengthened. And when it was passed, I was right there. I piloted the bill through the Senate. But I'm very disappointed in how the operations have unfolded,
Right.
and I think that's something that needs to be looked at.
You feel them have a vendetta against the PM, the Integrity Commission, that is?
I don't know if the institution, I wouldn't say the institution does, but it does appear that there has been some victimization. And
By who?
well, you know, there's a matter before the court, so let's wait for that to be. I have every confidence, and I would if I were to give him advice for free, appeal all the way to the Privy Council, because this law will be critical for all citizens.
So you have to pay for give him advice? Choose this for free.
But I'm a lawyer.
Oh, God.
So I'm saying
Just so you know.
you're definitely buying drinks.
I'm messing
You're
with you.
like-
I'm messing with you. I'm
You're
messing with you.
definitely buying drinks.
I go, wow.
Yeah. Only one left. You might need to
Right?
wrap this up.
Yes. My final question is,
I notice you're fighting against Bello. I'm not going to take it personally, but
No, my day already for talk to Bella.
oh, man should time
it's-
out.
it's
Let's
up
check.
already.
Ask your question, Roger. We're doing this at the end. Ask your question.
yeah. Okay. What do you feel is the important choice that voters will have to make this election, and why should they choose Jamaica?
Okay. Who wouldn't choose Jamaica? But that aside, so I think we're at an important point in our development as a country. I think we have fixed some major problems that people thought could never be fixed, as I was saying earlier in the conversation. So bringing down our debt to GDP to create the fiscal space for resources to do more. Because remember, if you're paying more debt than you are earning in revenue, then you're stuck, really literally stuck, and you're just shuffling the cards. You're not moving forward. So having solved that problem and made the country's economy stable so that we're getting more investment, things like fixing FATF, so that investment can now flow again. Because remember, when you're on the FATF list, you are viewed as a higher investment risk. So getting companies to invest is more difficult than if you're not on the list.
Right.
So fixing that problem was major. That just happened last year, and then we came off the EU list in March of this year.
Yes.
March. So that unlocks a lot of potential right there. We understand what needs to be done with water. We're on the way with roads. We understand what needs to be done. We've projectized these things. A lot of this requires strategic management. You cannot run with it. You cannot just give away cash if you have it. You have to be strategic about how you spend it, which is
Right.
what we did. And COVID, just before COVID, I have to tell you, it was like all of us, I remember Nigel and I saying it, it's like we're just in a depression because we were so ready to catalyze growth. We had just done the Trans-Jamaica IPO, so that we had reserves, and there were a whole set of projects lined up that were to unleash growth, right? It's like, COVID.
And then pause.
Everything had to go into social support, making sure nobody lost their jobs, trying to deal with incentivize private sector to retain jobs, making sure public sector jobs remain, giving care packages to the most vulnerable, upgrading our health system.
Making sure so people don't flout the rules with the times
Making sure
that's
people
supposed to.
stay inside when
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
supposed
them
to
thing
stay
there.
inside. And if they don't stay inside, then there had to be sanctions, and some people had to face that sanction.
I agree.
Yes, he did. Our friend. He did. And I think he has grown a lot since then. I think he's grown a lot since then. And
We're outside.
Outside, you remember? Oh my goodness. But it was a very difficult time as a cabinet, and Jamaica actually became a model, because there are things that we did that became the first. When we had Jam COVID, other countries created similar portals to manage their situation. When we had the tourism, the corridor, the resilient corridor, Spain did one, and other countries then followed after that. We created global tourism resilience day, coming out of our tourism plans, and that was adopted by the United Nations and now celebrated on the February 17th each year.
Oh,
coming out of all the resilience plans that we developed during COVID. But again, we lost almost 3 years of our term to COVID and the uncertainties. And when we were just coming out of COVID, war in Ukraine, supply chain. But again, we were able to use our relationships with Morocco, for example, to get fertilizer in. And so we had growth in agriculture, notwithstanding that a lot of places in the world didn't have fertilizer. And even though, yes, there was a question that Auditor General asked recently about, it was about the fact that they did not have the list of beneficiaries up front, but there was no dispute that the farmers did not get, and the list was provided after to the Auditor General. But it's that was the debate when persons were told that they were rude and out of order. But if you wanted to find it in the Hansard.
Speaking of debate, how you felt that? One last question from how you felt Minister Favour Williams in the debate?
Favour was clear. Favour, I cannot. Meaning, Favour has a personality that is not bombastic, and I don't think bombast makes a good finance minister. What makes you a good finance minister is your ability to manage the numbers, to understand them, and to be technically sound. That's what I want in a finance minister. I don't want, drama and persons who think that it's, like cool to use drill as a pun and whatever. You're not going to win the finance minister war, right? And so, I was telling you why to choose Jamaica.
Yeah.
Thank you for distracting
I'm
me.
sorry.
Wow, strike. You're buying drinks.
I prefer vodka too.
Oh, I do actually. I do as well.
But I do like
vodka.
a glass of wine. So
you
can
red, white?
You can sort us out white.
Okay.
Red makes me sleepy.
Okay.
But so I feel that there's a lot that we have done. We have lost time to COVID. We lost a lot of energy and resources to COVID. And that set us back from building on some of the foundational work. We're turning the corner with crime. We absolutely should not change our policies on crime at this time. We have the backs of the security forces on this 100%. We feel that the institutional support for human rights, protection of human rights, and investigation of the force where things go wrong, that is in place, and it's sufficiently strong for us to be able to really continue to take it to the gangs while managing violence prevention, social intervention, social investments, crime prevention, and rehabilitation. We have a new corrections policy coming, a rehabilitation policy coming. We have added psychological and psychiatric support in the prisons. We're looking at the whole issue of training. I don't know if you saw the thing that 10 inmates graduated from UCC with their degrees the other day. They train at Heart. We have the MOU between Heart and Corrections now, so that when you come out, you don't just go back to the gang. We want you to change your life. We have psychosocial programs. We have counseling. I mean, it's not a holiday. It's not a holiday. Jamaican prisons are not becoming a holiday. But we are very clear that we need to look at the whole cycle of crime. So if you now have somebody coming in who is going to decide to say, listen, we're going to change everything because, we think that we can hug it out. Or that we can just pay the gangs to lock them gun, because that was essentially what was happening under the violence prevention program before. They go in, they identify the gang members, they pay them something to sort of, keep the peace.
Quell things.
Quell. But then
you have to continue.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's not, as a policy, that's not, which is why the police never supported it. But that aside, without, looking back at that too much, just saying that there are programs in place that when strengthened and continued, we will continue to reap the results. Because remember, at the same time, we're keeping the fees off heart, and we're giving the stipend to the youngsters who are on the margins, the ones that are most vulnerable to recruitment. So it's a cycle. It's a cycle of social building and crime reduction.
Right.
And that I just feel like we can, if there's one thing that I wanted to say we cannot turn back on, it's the fight against crime. We want a gang-free Jamaica, a Jamaica that deals with the cycle of crime, that builds our young people a new way forward, a new path, right? Like Bukele, if you follow him, Bukele said that his crime fighting is not a crime fighting plan, it's an economic plan. Because his point is to tell the teenagers that there is no future in crime. So if you decide that you're going to follow the gangs, you're actually going to spend the rest of your life in jail.
Yeah.
It's like there's no negotiation, there's no option for you.
Either
So
that
the
or
choice is-
grave.
So you're going to stay in school, or you're going to go to jail. You're going to spend your life in prison. Because their thing is mass incarceration, right? Not even extrajudicial, is incarceration. So the for us, we have never gone that path. But what we have said is we want to introduce the youth to a new possibility. Because we have raised the penalties on murder and gun possession to a level that makes it known. It's not, you're not going to spend 3 years and be out in one.
Yeah, walking, no.
No. Right? 15 years, 50 years, sort itself out.
Yeah, definitely we need to be
Make a
tougher
choice.
on these things.
They're tougher now. We changed them in the last few months. So that's our proposal, but in a different way. So that make an economic choice. You can get a skill. Maybe you didn't do well in school. Maybe you couldn't read. There are programs now. We are actually coming with a new online and audiovisual, because maybe people still don't feel comfortable going back to school or even an evening program.
Yeah.
But we're going to give you a program that you can do on your phone and learn to read at home in the privacy. So if you're serious about making a choice, making a change, you can still do it privately in your own time and way. And while, of course, you empower yourself otherwise. So we're...
Crawford have that idea that who copy who this?
I would make a guess, but but let's say it this way. There are no new ideas under the sun, and what if we both had that great idea?
I've seen that ad, by the way. Clever.
The copy. Thank you. It is in our book. It is not in the book. It is in, then that's going to make me think. Because one thing I did not do was read their manifesto. I did not read their manifesto.
Why not?
Because I didn't want it to get into my brain.
Oh, okay.
And I was briefed, so I knew what the broad strokes were. I knew that gang wasn't in there. The word gang was not in there. What? That word multilateral. I read the foreign affairs section.
Okay.
But really. So
You probably are reading this and say amateurs.
Like, you don't even have the word multilateral in here. Oh my God.
That's crazy.
God.
But truth be told, the PNP is not ready to leave Jamaica. They're not ready. Their approach to policy making, we're going to do this tax. Oh, no, we're not going to do this tax. We're going to do this tax. No, we're not going to do it again. They will say anything far forward. And that's why I said that, because they say, we're going to increase GCT and fund education by it. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? Okay, we're not doing that. We're going to put a tax on food and create a new agricultural fund. But no, that's going to drive up prices. Oh, well, we're not doing that. We're going to add 2 hours on our teachers' day at school. Teachers, oh, really? I don't think so. Okay, we're not doing that. Let's not put it in the manifesto. Let's print a new one. No, so it's not deeply thought out policies and plans that make you feel confident that they understand government, they understand how to get through. And you would have heard Fable, as a matter of fact, she fully dissected what their plan looks like, what it will cost. And that was just the that was just a 75 to 80 billion of the 3.5. That wasn't costing, I think Damion had said it's like 36 billion for some of the other funds and not everything in the manifesto. But already then you're like at 120 something billion dollars that you would have to find. Which is why I said I'm going to have to cut something, borrow something, tax something. It's just not possible.
Yeah. And
then to do it by April, which is what we have programmed is a continued increase in the threshold. So we moved from 592,800 to 1.5. We did that over 2 years. And then we moved to 1.7. I think it was 2 years ago. We moved to 1.8 this year, 1.9 next year, 2 next year. We'll move up after that. But while we're moving up after that, we're budgeted up to 2, which is why 2 is in our manifesto. So we're budgeted up to 2.
Right.
While bringing down the income tax base rate from 25 to 15. And that's costed at between 26, was it about $26 billion? And then when you add the income tax relief for seniors, I think it takes it up to maybe 36 or something like that. So 65 and older, come next financial year, we will not pay income tax. So what they will have is a better use of their funds at this stage of life. And those persons would have been persons who would have been subjected to wage freezes and whatever before under the PNP. So and that exactly brings it up by another 10 billion or so on our side, but that's budgeted out.
Right.
And without because we're not planning to have a whole lot of segregated funds, we continue to be able to move money around as needed for the different programs. We're going to leverage existing schools for the brain builder centers. We're going to repurpose libraries for the youth innovation hubs. We're going to also leverage community centers for the creative villages. So you'll have studios there, you have green rooms, you know, because then it's just about purchasing equipment and making sure it's maintained and managed by people who are in the space. Creative special economic zones so that they can import their equipment, their fancy stuff at, incentivized rates in terms of tax benefits. So we're leveraging systems that are in place to target areas of growth. And that we think is going to work well building on these. But if you have somebody who's now going to say they're going to turn the ship around because they don't want anybody to say that they were copycats. In education, all that's happening there, our trend program, 30% in, continue to monitor. Those things, I feel like it's really critical at this point that if we're not to keep going back, remember, we were growing in the 60s and then we had the 70s, right? We had social progress, but economic decline. Then we started growing again in the 80s and then in the 90s. It's anemic. Jamaica was the only country that wasn't really growing when the whole world was. And then we had FinSac, which caused a collapse of 40,000 businesses. It created the debt. In fact, I had learned, I didn't even realize it, that this year is the first year that we have a debt to GDP ratio that is lower than pre-FinSac 30 years ago, which means that we've just finished paying for FinSac debt. Yeah. So when you have somebody...
This is factually correct.
Yeah. Fact check me. It's a clickety clack. If somebody stood on the stage and said, that young people today don't care, that was 30 years ago. Oh my goodness, that has angered so many people. That has angered so many people.
Because the effects of things done 30 years ago, like you see how like it can affect things now.
Literally just don't pay for it. Yeah. So that's actually how I learned, because I hadn't been monitoring it in that context at all. So it's actually just told, which is, but so I feel we're at a critical time. This is a critical juncture. I feel this election is particularly important because if we are to turn around now, I don't know where we'll be. Are we going to go? Will they try to do the 3.5 and send us back into debt? We've had 8 years of no new taxes, So everything that I've spoken about, we've managed it in a way that's no new taxes. It's not magic. It's like really hard.
Shout out to Nigel Clark.
Shout out to Nigel for sure. It's amazing. It was amazing. And was a team effort.
Shout out to Fable as well. Yes, yes. A lot of people don't know that Fable did work with Nigel.
Shout out to Fable too. And shout out to Prime Minister because
we don't know about that yet. You need to fall upon the show.
Shout out to Prime
We need to
Minister.
big him up here.
Yeah, we need to big enough to face. Yeah.
Oh, you need him on your show?
If only you would find our lowly show a place to worthy to forward to. So,
Oh, PM is...
exchange ideas. Well, he's very busy. But
is very
you're very busy as well. I would thank you for taking the time out to speak with us.
No, I've really enjoyed this. This has been amazing.
I know what every politician that comes here, they always say that. So I don't know if it's that others them just see it as being afraid or I don't know, but like every single politician comes here says
liar.
she's not a liar. She's not a liar. We can fact check her on that. Really, again.
You
Watch the 2 hours.
I know. As soon as we leave, he's gonna be like, "There must be something. There must be something."
We're gonna ask Bella. Yeah. Was Kamina tell the truth?
Bella gone to sleep. I know. I'm sure.
No, but really and truly give thanks
Yes.
for forwarding and taking time out to speak with us. We really appreciate it.
Really appreciate it.
I love test the politician them on them time. So much time when I spend with it. I do appreciate time out for long conversations.
This evening happened to be free, and I think I was supposed to go walk with somebody, but it was cancelled. So
the stars aligned.
The stars
it was
aligned.
Not a night walker. You know, so me never mean that pun there.
Yes, exactly. I was like,
Nice.
are you sure? Are you sure I'm the right person for this?
Why not?
This will be fine. I don't
Are
know.
you ever go viral every other 3 years with the dance moves? I say, I want to shake it to the max when they have to
Shaking
like,
it to the max at the rally.
you know what I
In
mean?
the drift.
That
one
was
I never
absolutely
planned.
not planned.
Yeah, you could have said that was on the spot. I say, all right, let me give them something.
But at least you knew it.
A small one.
Yeah, like a small as, yeah.
Like a
Can't always just say, oh, trials, yeah.
Get a little cute one.
What a life. Do you know there are people who only remember that?
Real
from my
from
whole
the
speech?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
of
There
course.
I was,
No, them are gonna remember when.
the undecided.
Them are gonna remember when
Remember the
That's
shaking
why we
Kamina
dance.
Johnson Smith do the shake it to the max. And that's why we're gonna vote for them. You are them look at thing that people vote for people. You know? It's sad, but it kind of true.
Well, if
Yeah.
my little shake it get us 2 votes, then
It was worth it.
it was
Well,
worth it.
it's a part of being a politician, being likable, and being, Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, remember, I'm in the
Relatable to
Senate,
the
so I'm
people.
not really generally out in the vote getting mix of things.
Oh,
So, I mean, in the terms of a mindset, yes, we all want everyone
Of
to
course.
vote for the Jamaican Labour Party, but it's just policy.
So no dubs for you. Come on, say there's time. We're not trying to get the dub from. Oh,
Where was it? Who was it who said that? Anyway, let's leave that for another time. Let's leave that for another
shall
time.
somebody in mind, man. Yeah.
And it's for our fly girl.
Well, let me ask you.
Yeah, make it a fly girl.
Let me
enough,
ask you. Who
Yeah.
would you recommend to do a dub for me?
I shouldn't say at this point.
Shetsia?
Yeah, why not?
That would be fitting.
Yeah, shouldn't say at this point. Yeah. At this point, yeah.
Yeah, fly girl.
I'm Mali for the carry child. The actual feature
See that
artist
you've
with the
been
song.
doing Shake It to the Max too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
can
can't
make it
pull on the
work.
government strings.
So we
Yeah.
can go on.
Yeah.
Boy. But
Yes.
this has been amazing. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, I'm happy you
I
enjoyed
hope
it.
that you found the information interesting, and I hope that your listeners find it interesting or found it interesting as well. And I do hope I'll be back.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Tell the people them where them can follow and not follow, but go look on the manifesto online.
Oh,
Tell
yes,
them,
yes. Jamaica Labour Party.
And then tell them where them can follow you on socials. Yes.
JamaicaLabourParty.com. Check out Bella. Check out our interactive map. We have a map where you can just click on the parish and you can see what police stations have been repaired, what schools have been repaired, what fire stations have been built or repaired, what roads projects have been undertaken. You can see what health centers have been repaired. All of that by parish. Just click and you can see. And our manifesto is also there. And it has all the accessibility features. So if you are colorblind or dyslexic or have other visual impairments, then you will still be able to find be able to engage with and consume our manifesto.
Yeah.
And the achievements documents have the same features as well. So check them out. We also have them broken out by chapter. So if you want to look out just for the area that's of concern to you, we have them under governance or infrastructure or society or economic growth. Sorry. And so you can really look for what you want. You can choose what works for you, but however you choose what works for you, choose what works for Jamaica, and choose Jamaica. Choose the Jamaica Labour Party. And on September 3rd, I hope you're hearing this before.
Do ya?
You're exercise the bell.
Maybe by tomorrow. Maybe by tomorrow.
There you
Actually.
go.
Maybe by tomorrow. Let me talk to Bella now. Hey, Bella.
Hi, I'm Bella.
You're there.
A real Jamaican.
You clicked her again?
Your conversation limit has been exceeded.
That's what I was telling you. She's gonna go to sleep.
Okay, she gone to sleep.
Yeah, she's gonna go
I
to
see
sleep.
them have
So you have to use a different
have to
account.
log in and everything. Okay.
Yeah, because
Oopsie.
remember we have to. Yeah,
I do. With a different email.
Yeah, there's a limit
on a user, because what you don't want is for people to abuse her.
Oh,
Because people just go on and just
even
sit down
virtually, we'll protect the women too. You know, yeah. We'll protect the
Bella.
virtual women.
It's
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it's like that.
That's the depth of our instincts.
Well, we don't want to keep you any longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
No,
da go
I
ask
really
her. Me
appreciate
da go
it.
ask her who's winning the 2025 general elections, but maybe you can tell us, Minister. Should I? Should I?
You know, I have not asked her that question. But she's not trained on poll data. She's trained on the achievements. She's trained on manifesto.
Poll shots.
She's trained on so she might not. But I'd be interested to know what she says.
Yeah.
She's gonna redirect you to the things that you should ask her.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. You tried?
Wow,
Okay.
You thought of everything.
Okay.
Oh, see me have a about
She come up back?
yeah. Oh, monthly conversation limit exceeded. Okay, right, for real. All right.
Right. Yeah, you can't
Right.
just leave her open. That's why I was kind of saying she's gonna go to sleep.
All right.
But you do see our, like, check out the scroll down and
Yep.
see how things look,
Mhm.
and that's where you find the buttons. Just hover over those images and you see the chapters,
Okay.
so you can break them out easy.
Very nice
Yeah.
website.
Thank you.
Very.
And it has been attacked,
Attacked. Like them try hack it or
like,
Really?
yeah,
really?
yeah. And
Ooh.
so far so good. People.
People.
Yes.
National. Yeah, she was. Oh boy. Can we not hack each other's government party websites, please?
Stop
being
haters.
Yeah, but they identified
crazy.
5 countries. They identified IP addresses. You know, I mean, you know how it
Oh.
goes because they use,
Oh,
they don't
yeah.
use fixed IPs, so you can't really trace
Yeah.
necessarily.
Oh,
but,
okay.
but they identified 5 countries so
Oh.
far. So, but
Well, hopefully that the case is solved. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Cyber.
You know what I was going to ask you, if we were wrapping up, but do you know what's happening with Antoinette, the interpreter, why she wasn't at the social issues?
you know,
dinner?
I don't know exactly, but that does seem to be a bit of a messy issue. It does seem to be disappointing. It's
Yeah.
disappointing
It is
that
very
that we
disappointing.
didn't have. And she's amazing. She's
She is.
amazing.
Yeah.
I did
She's
see.
like the
Are you not just saying that because allegedly she's a JLP?
No. She's done Parliament. She's done.
Yeah, we've seen that.
I mean, she's doing this work for so
For
long.
yeah.
That she's
How much
Almost
years?
20
so
years.
she's particularly experienced. So for something like this, she's like a perfect choice.
Yes.
And I did see. What I did see was some disappointment in the person who sort of pitched in. I hope that last
Yeah.
night was better because I haven't checked to see what the social media response was. But
I
yeah.
saw some. It was kind of the same as the
Okay.
same
And the
replacement
truth is,
person.
she's just super experienced, and there's
Yeah,
just
that's the
really
thing.
there's no substituting for that
Yeah.
if you're gonna make a choice. So, hopefully that will be sorted out for the
Yeah.
next time, and also hopefully more interpreters will also come up and develop that kind of experience as well, because
Yeah.
it's you want some broadening in the system as well.
Right.
Competition is always good. It helps maintain excellence. That's really how the world works.
She's right.
But she's awesome. So I'm disappointed for her that things didn't go well, haven't gone well for her in the space.
All right, we're getting you out there. We'll get drinks afterwards for real. And the commenters going to say, you say, no give Kamina more time than Damion. Like, oh boy, yeah. Keep on guessing. Keep on guessing who will say. Yeah. I love that.
I've been a
Oh,
government
them ask
minister.
a tougher question. Them do that rougher.
I
Yeah.
have been a government minister for 9 years. I'm your first female foreign minister
Yes.
and the longest
Would have
consecutive
spent all the
serving
time
foreign
with you.
minister
Yes.
across males as well.
Exactly.
So you kept me on a little longer. That's all right.
Justified.
As,
That's all
as
right.
Ari said, finally, finally you're here. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
All right, we're not holding no longer.
All right.
Give thanks again.
Bless.
Thank
Appreciate.
you.
Yes.
Appreciate.